Welcome to LAURELD Smith with Chicago, Illinois, visually based archaeological and theological discoveries. In this particular video, we're going to be looking at historical images of the Jerusalem Dome of the Rock basement foundation stone. This stone was there in existence before King David was even born, or before King David's son built the Dome of the Rock around this ancient foundation stone. So, when we talk about the stone being older than Judaism itself. Oh, well, when we look at this foundation stone, we must first look at the GIZA Sphinx, Lion of the tribe of Judah, mentioned in the book of Genesis 49, chapter 9 verse. This black man faced on a lion's body in front of the Isaiah 1919 Giza pyramid in Egypt has been discovered by LAURELD Smith of Chicago, Illinois, upon the outer surface of the Jerusalem foundation stone. Welcome to LAURELD Smith of Chicago, Illinois, visually based archaeological and theological discovery images. In this particular video, we will be looking at the ancient Egyptian story of Israel in ancient Egypt. However, the three-card word Mali trick employed by the King James 72 Greek and Hebrew scholars, in which he appointed in the 16th century to compose the 66 books in which we now call the English King James Bible. The 72 Greek and Hebrew scholars used the word Israel, renamed Jacob into Israel after he wrestled with an angel. This part of the King James Bible actually took away from the glory of the African continent civilization of Ham, original GIZA Sphinx Lion of the tribe of Judah. So, when we read scriptural passages of Israel existing in ancient Egypt for 400 years, we must highlight Jacob wrestling with an angel and the angel renaming Jacob into Israel. So, when we talk about all black African civilizations such as ancient Egypt and Babylon, where we see stone step pyramids. So when we go back to the Jacob wrestling with an angel, and his name was changed into Israel. So when kings in the Middle East tell us that Israel do not exist, well, they are 50% right, because Israel didn't enter into ancient Egypt. His sons and his sons' wives entered into ancient Egypt. Make a note for a legal argument that Israel later on, his 11 sons, went and brought Israel back into Egypt. So the legal argument says no, Israel was not in Egypt. His sons and daughters was. So his sons had names of their own. Okay. And so when we talk about the legal argument of Israel existing for 400 years in ancient Egypt, we must look at the book of Genesis 49 chapter and 9th verse, which speaks of Judah, thou art he who all thy brethren shall praise. So we're talking about the 12 sons of Israel in ancient Egypt for 400 years. Well, Afro-American ministers and preachers, they had this blank spot in their mind when they mentioned the Lion of the tribe of Judah. Well, if we talk about the fourth son of Jacob, this is what the book of Genesis 49 chapter 8 verse is talking about. The county lion sphinx of the tribe of Judah. It's the black man facing on a lion's body, in which we currently see in front of the Isaiah 1919 Giza pyramids. So Israel existed in ancient Egypt, was overlooked, or it was watered down by changing Jacob's name into Israel. But if the fourth son of Jacob, or the fourth son of Israel, is the black man face we currently see upon the lion's body, in front of the Isaiah 19:19 Egyptian pyramid, then that's a whole new ball game. Why? Now when we talk about the fourth son of Jacob, the fourth son of Israel, existed in ancient Egypt for 400 years, that's a long time. But the Lion of the tribe of Judah, or Africanism, okay, in relationship to the Lion of the tribe of Judah. Now remember, the book of Lamentations speaks of our skin was black like an oven because of the terrible famine. They raped the women of Zion and the maids in the city of Judah. So we already have scriptural reference of African continent civilization of Ham in ancient Egypt and Babylon. Okay, now we have scriptural reference of the African continent civilizations that started the ancient Babylonian and Egyptian empire. So when we read the scriptural misphrase of Israel in ancient Egypt for 400 years, we must look at who was the fourth son of Israel, that all the 11 sons of Israel had to bow down to. So this is taking a quote from Genesis, the first book in the King James Bible, 49th chapter, 9th verse, where Jacob says, Judah is the lion's whelp from the prey, my son, thou art going up. He cast down as a lion and as an old lion. All thy father's children shall bow down unto thy rulership, or unto thee. It goes on to say, the scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet until Shiloh come. Until him shall the gathering of the people be. So this will be a prelude to the Exodus. Unto him, until Shiloh come. All thy 11 Israeli brothers shall bow down to thy rulership. So here's the first time Afro-American man in Chicago, Illinois. My name is LAURELD Smith. I'm bringing you the hidden story of Africa. And I'm showing you a black man's face on a lion's body that was denied in the theological based form of racism in the 16th century by King James appointed 72 Greek and Hebrew scholars. So as we see that the GIZA SPHINX Lion of the tribe of Judah, who cast down as the lion, is a representation of the black man's face we currently see on the lion's body, as in front of the Isaiah 19:19 Egyptian pyramid. But if we connect the black-skinned children of Judah, because Lamentation tells us that our skin was black like an oven, the black children of Ham, African continent civilization of Ham. And then it goes on to tell you King Solomon. Now this is where it really gets tricky at. They already tried to whitewash the African GIZA SPHINX Lion of the tribe of Judah couching down as a lion in ancient Egypt. Now remember, the 400-year stayover of the Israel in ancient Egypt was whitewashed to uplift the European faith false state of Israel above the African continent civilization of Ham, children of Judea, in the Judean desert. So when we talk about King David and Solomon, there's a misnomer or a misread, because when you ask an Afro-American minister preacher about King David, they're going to think of a Hebrew, okay, or a Jewish character. But that's not true. It never was true. King David is an African, civilization of Ham, descendant and king of Jerusalem and Judah, the Judean desert. So when we talk about King Solomon, there's another misread by Afro-American ministers and preachers. They read in the book of Psalms, King Solomon telling them, I'm black but comely, O you daughters of Jerusalem. Look not upon me, because the sun has burnt me, the sun has shined upon me. My mother's children were angry with me, and they made me the keeper of their vineyards. So King Solomon is telling all the Bible readers that pick up the 66 books we call the English King James Bible today, that he's a descendant of African continent civilization of Ham. This, therefore, if King Solomon, the son of King David, is a black man, okay, black pharaoh, ruling Jerusalem and Judea, then he was accredited with building the Dome of the Rock. Now this is where it really gets historical at, because when the Bible tried to use the three-card word Molly trick it was a 3-card word molly trick. You know, you put 3 cards on the table and say, is it on this card, is it on that card? Okay, well, the 3-card word molly trick completely concealed the African continent civilization of Ham that populated the Judean desert. Remember, everybody in Africa is called the children of Ham, H-A-M. Everybody in Europe is called the children of Shem, S-H-E-M. Everybody in China, Asia, is called the children of Japheth, J-A-P-E-T-H. So, the 3-card word molly trick tells us that King David bought the land of Jerusalem from the Jebusites. You said, oh, so that's the 3-card word. Yeah, the Jebusite. You see, it's African continent civilization of Ham populating the Judean desert. Therefore, when we read Ezra 1:3, telling us that let us go up to Jerusalem, which is located in the land of Judah, and build the house of the Lord God. What house? Is that the house the black man called King Solomon built? Yeah, it's the octagonal building structure that has the golden dome. So that word Jebusite, okay, so when we look at the 3-card word molly trick, taking away from ancient Africa the history and glory of the Dome of the Rock. So if King Solomon is black and he built the Dome of the Rock upon an ancient mountain foundation stone. So if you go into the basement of the Dome of the Rock today in Jerusalem, the holy building of King David and Solomon, you're going to see a stone, a big stone. It's called the foundation stone. Now on the surface of this foundation stone, we have further archaeological and theological evidence of the African continent civilization of Ham, origin of the Dome of the Rock. We see micropixelated images of GIZA Sphinx faces that has step pyramids, upside down step pyramid carved in the GIZA Sphinx line of Judah face. So remember, even before King Solomon was ever born, okay, keep in mind King Solomon built this holy building, this octagonal building that has a golden dome around the foundation stone. So what's older, the foundation stone with the GIZA Sphinx faces, or the Dome of the Rock that was built around the foundation stone? Ask yourself the question. Oh, then the truth started to filter in about ancient Africa, GIZA Sphinx line of the tribe of Judah, origin of ancient Judaism. Because we already had this stone 6-point star in Babylon, okay, the first city of African continent civilization of Ham in the book of Genesis. Now this stone, the pyramid civilization, appears on the foundation stone, where we see a GIZA Sphinx face with upside down step pyramids carved in his face. So this is a 100% archaeological and theological connection to African continent civilization of Ham, origin of Jerusalem. So you can erase that Jebusite era out of the King James Bible. King David did not buy the land where King Solomon, his son, built Jerusalem. Renamed after King David bought this land from the African continent civilization of Ham, the theological-based racism within the 400-year-old mistranslated European King James Bible, appointed 72 Greek and Hebrew scholars by King James, they used the 3-card word molly trick by renaming the African continent civilization of Ham foundation stone area, the land of the Jebusite. So what was the name where the Dome of the Rock was built of that land? It was J-E-B-U-S, Jebus. That's right, J-E-B-U-S. So you put a I-T-E-S behind Jebus, you got Jebusite. So this is a 3-card word molly trick. It's taken away from ancient Africa, GIZA Sphinx line of Judah, already existing foundation stone in the land of Judea, the Judean desert area. So this stone is so old. Now, when Christians talk about the Dome of the Rock and the foundation stone, they say that's the area where African Adam was created. What? Yeah, but see, it's a twist. They say a European-faced Jehovah created a European-faced Adam and a European-faced Eve, which is all nonsense. See why? Because we already talking about an African continent civilization of Ham, Holy Land area that King Solomon, African King Solomon, built a Dome of the Rock building upon the foundation stone. So the foundation stone trumps all of the King James Bible life, because before the Dome of the Rock was even built upon the foundation stone, we see ancient black African continent civilization of Ham, stone step pyramids on the foundation stone. And what's so amazing is that there's an UFO upon the foundation stone, a circular image of a UFO that represents the UFO that appeared over 2011 over the Dome of the Rock. And the same bottom image of the UFO, if you're looking up at it as it appeared over the Dome of the Rock, it was 3 triangles of the lights, and the bigger light in the midst of the triangle of lights. So this is the same image we see on the foundation stone, the so-called 2011 UFO. But what's amazing is that Laurel Smith visually based archaeological and theological discoveries go further. If the Dome of the Rock foundation stone existed before the octagonal building structure as the Golden Dome was even constructed, then what is on the foundation stone that gives credit or authenticity to the GIZA Sphinx line of Judah being denied in the theological based form of racism within the 400-year-old mistranslated European King James Bible text? Well, it turns out that the oldest stone 6-point star does not belong to the European state of Israel. Okay? You say, well, why? Because Zechariah Sitchin was a Jewish archaeologist who made a film about the 12th planet entering into our solar system. So he had to go back and rely on the oldest African continent city in the Bible, which was Babylon, stone step pyramid city, who had astronomical tablets showing 12 planets surrounding a 6-point star as a sun. You said, what? Yeah, this knowledge was suppressed in European churches, because now we have the black African continent civilization of Ham, GIZA Sphinx, Lion of the tribe of Judah, who comes down as the lion in the book of Genesis 49, chapter 9 verse. Now we see him with the oldest stone 6-point star in the King James Bible. And this 6-point star it's not something you can wear like a necklace. No. It is a big stone, okay, about 3 feet wide. And a 6-point star on the stone, and it's a big sun in the center of the 6-point star. So what is that sun? That's 1 John 1:1, biblical light that existed in the black outer regions of space is what creates the fabric of your world. What else is that sun? It's Malachi 4:2, winged Egyptian sun disk. So the ancient Egyptians were saying that the ancient ray, or the sun with wings on all the Egyptian temple walls, is the order of the human Ka, Ka, and Ba, soul and mind, light. So now we see in Microbiology 101 that electron microscope image of the human cell, we see a rotating circle of light plasma. So that means that 1 John 1:1, biblical light that exists in the black outer region of space is talking about the sun. So the oldest stone 6-point star in the Bible connected to black continent civilization, African continent civilization of Ham, as the sun, surrounded by 12 planets. Now why is this so important? Because when we go look at the foundation stone that exists before the Dome of the Rock, okay, remember the Dome of the Rock is an African building structure. No matter what archaeologists try to tell you, what Google or YouTube videos try to tell you, it's a Jewish building. No, it's not a Jewish building. No, it's not a Hebrew building. See why? Because the foundation stone in the basement where the Dome of the Rock was built around this huge ancient stone. Now remember, Adam was created in that area of the foundation stone. African Adam. So you can't have your cake and eat it too. In other words, the Europeans tried to make a white Jesus, a white Jehovah, a white bearded man creating the earth and creating Adam and Eve. But that's not what the Dome of the Rock foundation stone is showing us. It's so old, it has a GIZA Sphinx face. It has elongated head, big black oval-shaped eyes, 4 feet tall, wheeling like UFO aliens, so it was landing on Mount Sinai. Now remember, the UFOs in the Old Testament that Ezekiel saw had these 3 fingers and 1 thumb, big black oval-shaped eye, woolly wool like UFO aliens. And all these aliens had long watermelon-shaped head. But you go back to the creation of Genesis 1:26. Adam, elongated headed African Adam, that's in Genesis 1st chapter, 26th verse. But the normal shaped head in humans, such as you and me and the rest of the world, even the GIZA Sphinx has a normal shaped head. So he was created in Genesis 2:7. So the GIZA Sphinx of Judea and Jerusalem was the GIZA Sphinx of ancient Judaism. So when we say that the foundation stone has not only a GIZA Sphinx of the normal shaped head of the human race, but it has woolly wool like UFO alien faces. Okay? And these woolly wool like UFO alien faces. Now, remember there's a circular depression on the foundation stone. And just behind that circular UFO image on the foundation stone, we have a humanoid figure standing. And this humanoid figure has a long watermelon-shaped head, big black oval-shaped eyes, 3 fingers and 1 thumb on each hand. Now this elongated headed UFO figure is reaching out on the foundation stone towards an Ethiopian stone cross-shaped building structure. Now that cross is very important. The stone cross-shaped building structure. Why? Because that's what is in Africa, a holy cross-shaped building, okay? In Ethiopia, in a place called Lalibela. So we already talked about the African continent civilization of Ham, foundation stone, in which the theological-based racism within the 400-year-old European King James Bible text renamed it the land of Jebus. King David bought Jerusalem, King David bought the land of Jebus and renamed it Jerusalem, after his son King Solomon built the Dome of the Rock around this foundation stone. So snap your fingers and the whole Dome of the Rock disappears. What do we have in the place? African continent civilization of Ham, holy foundation stone. Well, African Adam was created. Now that changes the whole ball game. Why? Because the foundation stone don't have no Hebrew letters, no Jewish letters, none of that Hebrew and Jewish crap is on the foundation stone. In fact, we have ancient Egyptian Palestinian letters and words on the foundation stone. And we have planets and stone 6-point stars. Now, remember, I took the Zechariah Sitchin 12 planet 6-point star that he found in African continent civilization of Ham, Babylonian city, and I compared it to the foundation stone 6-point star. You say, what? Yeah. So, you say, how come you can see these images and other people can't? Well, that's why I'm making the video. The same foundation stone they showed on Google and Wikimedia websites, I took that image so there'll be no controversy as to the authenticity of the Jerusalem foundation stone, GIZA Sphinx face. And I took other images of the GIZA Sphinx face. And I compared the stone 6-point star on the foundation stone to Zechariah Sitchin 6-point star that has the central sun found in ancient African continent civilization of Ham, Babylonian kingdom. And they match. In other words, the same planets around the Babylonian stone 6-point star, 12 planets from the Nibiru, we see it on the foundation stone 6-point star. So what is this? This is revisiting ancient African history. Because not only now do we have a GIZA Sphinx and a willing or like UFO alien with a long watermelon shape here creating the first elongated African Adam in their own image. You say, what? Yeah. You go back to Egypt 1,000 years ago, you see black pharaohs with long watermelon shaped heads. Okay? You go to Egypt today, you won't see no black men walking around ancient Egypt with a long watermelon shaped head. You say, what's what? That's it. You say, what? That's it. In other words, who was created in Genesis 1:26? The first elongated headed African Adam race. Where are they today? They left the earth. Who's left on the earth today? Normal shaped headed humans that was created in Genesis 2:7. Now you see what happened. That the elongated head African Adamic race is what the foundation stone, normal shaped head in humans, was worshiping and talking about. So when we talk about King Solomon building this foundation, building this dome of the rock that has a golden dome around this foundation stone, that's the area where the first African Adam was created. The foundation stone. Now you say, well, what is it? Well, don't get it twisted. Remember Mount Zion, the holy Mount Zion in the Bible? Okay, well, that was King David. So he would call the Jerusalem Mount Zion. But this foundation stone was the top of a mountain. You say, oh, so now remember what the European Gentile nation did in the 16th century was use the after the flood of Noah narrative, when the water swept over the whole earth and changed the land surface. But we're not going to go that way. We're going to take East African continent. I put a big A there. Everybody's familiar with the shape of the African continent. So you go east from Africa, you cross the Euphrates River. Now you hit that V-shaped piece of land. Well, Jerusalem and Judea is at the top. Syria and Babylon is in the middle of the V-shaped piece of land. Arabia is at the bottom. You say, now what? Well, if you're going east out of Africa, northeast, you're going to cross the Euphrates River. And you're going to enter that V-shaped piece of land. So guess what? I put a big red B on the V-shaped piece of land. Now what happened? Well, we're not going to use that false narrative after the flood of Noah, in which allowed the Europeans to put in white Jesus, white Jehovah, and all the white Adam and Eve characters in the English King James Bible text. What we're going to do is squeeze the East African continent coastline A back to B. Squeeze it. Now you say, oh my God, that's amazing. So you bypass what the European narrative was trying to show you, that the ancient earth was washed over. Now we're going to say, Jerusalem is in the East African continent coastline. Because big red A is East African continent coastline. Squeeze it back to B. So before Africa A separated from B, we had one huge African continent. So this is why we see the GIZA Sphinx line the Judah face in the Judean desert, stone step pyramids in the Judean desert, that's going east from the African continent coastline, and you enter the Judean desert. So not only does the book, the African continent civilization of Ham, own all the area surrounding Jerusalem, they own the Judean desert, because Ezra 1:3 said, let us go to Jerusalem, which is in the land of Judah, the Judean desert. So in Egypt, they're saying around the pyramids. In the Judean desert, they're saying. So when we talk about reclaiming Africa's ancient glory and history, we must look at the foundation stone, which is older than the Dome of the Rock itself. And what's amazing is the same GIZA Sphinx face that was denied in the theological based form of racism within the 400-year-old mistranslated European King James Bible text is appearing on the oldest foundation stone. You mean tell me the foundation stone has a GIZA Sphinx face and the 6-point star, right, and stone step pyramid. Right, so the step pyramids is a part of the globe Earth step pyramid Mercator projection. So the ancient Babylonians measured huge squares and rectangular sections of the earth. And they utilized the square and rectangle in the form of the step pyramid. Now in the video I show that you can see the globe Earth step pyramid Mercator projection when you go into the Giza pyramid. Okay, that's the black man face that was denied in theological based form of racism, couched down in front of the Isaiah 19:19 Giza pyramid. This is Genesis 49 chapter 9th verse, talking about Judah's alliance wealth from the prey, my son. They're all going up. He couched down to the line, and there's an old line. All thy father's children shall bow down to your rulership. You mean tell me the theological based form of racism, LAURELD Smith's visually based archaeological and theological discovery, discovered in the King James Bible, actually denied the black man facing the lion's body, than which we currently see in front of the Giza pyramid, Egyptian pyramids. Yep. So this theologically based form of racism by King James, the 16th century European king, actually denied, and black African GIZA SPHINX lying in the tribe of Judah. So you Afro-American ministers and preachers reading the Bible, they thought they went and graduated from theology school. They thought they had enough knowledge to go and try to teach and preach the Bible, but they didn't. Because they let the denial of the GIZA SPHINX of Judea and Jerusalem slip right through their hands. They don't even teach the Afro-American Sunday school children about Judean desert, about the GIZA SPHINX line of Judah who counts down. So if Judah is the fourth son of Israel, Israel in ancient Egypt. Now it's a whole new ballgame. Why? The black man faced on the lion's body of black Egyptians was denied in the English King James Bible as the couching lion thinks of the tribe of Judah. Who the only black man face couched down upon the lion's body from the Egyptian pyramid. So when we say the three-card word Molly trick showed us that by renaming Jacob wrestling with an angel, who this angel then said, thy name shall be called Israel. That was a three-card word Molly trick that snatched the glory away from the African continent civilization of Ham and ancient Egypt. So now we see that the fourth son of Israel is couched down in front of the Egyptian pyramids. If we want to use the three-card Molly word trick or name change. You say, I got it. So before Jacob wrestled with the angel, his name was changed to Israel. So that's why the kings in the Middle East say Israel don't exist. What? Because Jacob's sons, he had 12 sons, and his sons' wives entered into ancient Egypt. And they all had names of their own. Okay? Benjamin, Naphtali, Gad, Issachar. You say, break it down. So if all of Jacob's 12 sons and their wives entered into ancient Egypt, then you can't say Israel entered into ancient Egypt. Israel was one man who wrestled, Jacob wrestled with this angel, who then blessed him and said, thy name shall be called Israel. So that is a theological note you should make, that by renaming Jacob into Israel, it concealed the African continent civilization of Ham, GIZA SPHINX line of the tribe of Judah, to Afro-American Bible readers. So when Laurel Smith tells you that his visually based archaeological and theological discoveries actually shows a GIZA SPHINX face on the Jerusalem foundation stone. Look at it. It's on this video. So this is news to Afro-American ministers and preachers. Because not only do we see a GIZA SPHINX face, but we see stones, Babylonian style pyramids next to the GIZA SPHINX face. Now what's amazing about Israel in ancient Egypt, we should say the line of the tribe of Judah in ancient Egypt. You say, so that's a twist. You say, why? Because remember, they took away the glory of the black man facing on the lion's body from the Egyptian pyramid. He was called, Genesis 49 chapter 9 verse, couching lion thinks to the tribe of Judah, where all the 11 sons of Israel, or Jacob, was to bow down to the black man's face and rulership. So this is what theological-based racism did to the Afro-American reading the 400-year-old mistranslated European King James Bible text. They concealed that by renaming Jacob into Israel, they took away the GIZA SPHINX couched down in front of the Egyptian pyramids as the fourth son of Jacob. Truth in history. So, who was the fourth son of Jacob? The couching lion SPHINX of the tribe of Judah. And what was all the original 11 sons of Israel was to do in Egypt? Bow down to the black man face authority. Okay? So this is a whole new twist, because they try to tell you that the Europeans was in ancient Egypt as slaves. Yeah, they was slaves. You say, why? If you try to cross the border into America, you got border guards, state troopers. If you illegally cross into America, you're going to get arrested and locked up. Okay, let's go back in time. Here are all these Europeans from Europe, the children of Shem, on boats. Vikings with swords and Romans crossing on boats over into Nigeria, Ethiopia, and the Judean desert. They illegally crossing into African continent civilization of Ham land, or territory. So the African pharaohs had guards, military guards, on chariots, horseback. You know, black people, chariots and horseback. They were policing the riverfront of Judea and Jerusalem, Nigeria, and Ethiopia. So they catch white people crossing over into Africa. Okay, Egypt is in North Africa. Okay, Nigeria is in North Africa. You say, oh, so what you're telling me is that the white people was enslaved in ancient Egypt, that because they was illegally crossing over into Africa. Just like if you cross the Mexican border to America illegally, you're gonna get thrown in jail. So that should clear up any misconception about black people treating white people wrong. No, the black guards arrested the illegally border crossing Europeans. And so when we talk about Israel and ancient Egypt, you go to Israel today, you see European faced Israelites. You say, what? Yeah, look at it. So what are you telling me? The Bible don't tell you Israel was white, but the European theological based narrative, racist narrative, want to make you believe Jehovah was white, a bearded old man, Jesus was white, African Adam and Eve was white. This is the wrong concept to be taught in Afro-American churches. Your innocent little black boy, your innocent little black daughter is reading a Bible filled with white, racist, theological images. White Jesus, white Jehovah, white Adam, white Eve. So if you are an Afro-American history teacher and you're teaching your children about a white God creating a black man, that's all theologically and astronomically and microbiologically wrong. Because now we see that the oldest black man in Africa had a long watermelon-shaped head. You go to ancient Egypt, you see long, elongated head African pharaoh. They don't exist today. So by right, Genesis 1:26, first elongated head African Adamic race was created by the like UFO aliens that were landing upon Mount Sinai. Now the foundation stone has the image of the like UFO alien, a circular UFO on the foundation stone, and then there's a humanoid figure behind the UFO that has a long watermelon-shaped head. This would be the extraterrestrial. Now notice that I'm saying extraterrestrial civilization that created the first elongated headed African Adam in Genesis 1:26. You say, well, why is that so important? Well, because Genesis 1:26 deals with the elongated headed African Adam. Okay? And so, who created African Adam with the long watermelon-shaped head in their image and likeness? The same aliens that stand about 4 feet tall. They had big black oval-shaped eyes, long watermelon-shaped heads, and they had 3 fingers and 1 thumb on each hand. In fact, they had no penis or vagina between their legs. In fact, they had smooth skin there where a woman's vagina would be. So you can't call the alien that created man a he. But yet, that's what the mistake in Christianity, when they talk about Jehovah, a white bearded old man raised his robe up, Jehovah, he's got a penis. Same thing with Jesus, raised his white robe up, he has a penis. So the aliens that were landing on Mount Sinai did not have a penis. They were extraterrestrials and spaceships. They created the first elongated African Adam in their own image. This is why when you go back in time and see the history of the elongated Africans was erased off the walls of Egypt by Europeans that conquered Africa. You said, right, well, now what's left? What's left is Egyptian hieroglyphics and all the rest of that. And same thing in Babylon. The story of the elongated headed like UFO extraterrestrial civilization that existed on Earth before they created Genesis 1:26 elongated headed African Adamic race, or before Genesis 2:7 normal shaped headed human race was created. So before Genesis 2:7 or Genesis 1:26, human race was created. You had extraterrestrial civilizations on Earth. And now, so I can close this out and make sense biologically, the biblical light that comes up every day, shining 93 million miles away across the black outer reach of space, that's what 1 John 1:1 was talking about. The biblical light that created the world. Okay, you go back to ancient Egypt, we see some with wings on all the black Egyptian temple wall. And the GIZA Sphinxes line of Judah who couched down that was denied in the theological based form of racism by King James appointed 72 Greek and Hebrew scholars in the 16th century. This GIZA Sphinx is looking straight towards the sun as he sits in front of the pyramids. So the oldest 6-point star has a sun in the center, surrounded by 12 planets. So when we talk about the biblical light that creates the world, we're talking about hydrogen-like plasma. So now 1 John 1:1 says this biblical light that creates the world is also the biblical light that lighteth every man that cometh into the world. What? That's right. Your Afro-American minister and preachers is asleep. What? You can take an electron microscope they use in the hospital and take some saliva, look at it, magnify it, you're going to see chemical circular cells with black dots in the center of the cell nucleus. You can take a piece of your flesh, arm, leg, hip, thigh, the bottom of your feet. You can take a piece of flesh from any part of your body. Look at it with an electron microscope, a million times magnified, you're going to see chemical circular cells that all have black dots in the center of the cell nucleus. Now what the minister or preacher didn't tell you is that 1 John 1:1, biblical light that created the world, hydrogen-like plasma, the sun shines on fruits and vegetables, it creates fruits, vegetables, apples, and oranges for the entire planet through photosynthesis. Okay, so who's feeding the world? The biblical light. No false man-based European Lord God world religion characters feeding the world. Okay, so what this 1 John 1:1 was telling you? It was taken out of ancient Egypt, sun in the center of a 6-point star, the biblical light that created the world, in the black outer regions of space. But this biblical light that created the world is also the biblical light that lighteth every man that comes into the world. You say, yeah. Now, that's why on this video I'm going to show you a chemical circular cell in your body with a rotating circle hydrogen-like plasma. The same hydrogen-like plasma shining 93 million miles away across the black outer regions of space from the biblical light that creates the world, the sun that comes up every day. This is what ministers fail to teach their Afro-American Sunday school goers. That the Holy Spirit is this. How many colors in white light? 7. How many colors in the rainbow? 7. How many spirits around the throne of God in the book of Revelation? 7. So what is this? This is where it gets really tricky. There's a special camera called curtain photography. You can shine it on the human being standing up. You can see a rainbow around the human being. That's called the human aura. 7 rainbow circles surrounding the human body. You said, what? Yeah. But remember, if the human aura has 7 rainbow circles, the white light of your soul, hydrogen light, has 7 rainbow circles. White light strikes a crystal prism, you're going to see 7 rainbow lines. So you said what? The 7 spirits in the book of Revelation, okay, are the rainbow emerging from the throne of God. You said, so my aura is like the 7-color rainbow. Right. Now, when you see that the human cell, the biblical light that created the world, the sun, it's also the same light that lights every man that comes into the world. So your soul light, just let me make it simple. If I plug in the wall a lamp, it's 2 wires from the lamp making the light glow. If I take the scissors and cut the wire from the wall, I got a negative and positive wire. Now if I come over and touch your arm with the negative and positive electrical wire, you're going to get electrocuted and jump. You said, that's right. Okay. So now, feel your chest. Your heart is jumping. It's a muscle. Boom, 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 boom. What's making your heart jump, jump, jump? The same electrical light that's flowing through the wire into the lamp to make your light light up in your living room. You see, so what's that? That's showing you that the solar theology of ancient Judaism was about the sun within the 6-point star. And so the oldest 6-point star in the Bible belongs to the African continent civilization of Ham, Babylonian stone still pyramid civilization. what Zechariah's system showed, the 12th planet in the Nibiru, pointed out by a 6-point star that has a central sun in it, and surrounded by 12 planets. So now we see that the biblical light is hiding like plasma. Okay? That's what's going around all the chemical circle cells. So now we go back in time and take the cell sample from Jesus or any of the Old Testament prophets. We're going to immediately see that they all have chemical circle cells in the black dot and center cell nucleus. Where's the light of God? Now, when we put science and biology together, we need electron microscopes and stuff. Test tubes, beakers. Okay, so now what? Well, the LAURELD of Chicago, Illinois is telling you that the sun that comes up every day is what ancient Egypt was telling you, what ancient Judaism was telling you about. It's the solar theology of the biblical light that creates the world. So that's the light of your car and bar, soul and mind. But if you take a dollar bill out your pocket or purse, turn over, you're going to see that the Europeans that conquered Africa and sold the children of Judah, the African children of Judah and Judea, to the Greeks. These same Europeans took over ancient Egypt and lied about the black man face in front of the Egyptian pyramids on the lion's body. So this theological based racism I discovered in the 400-year-old mistranslated European King James Bible text not only lied about the alien creators of man, landing on Mount Sinai, and glowing circle of wielding like UFOs, but the same white man that took over Africa and Egypt, they put their eye in front of the sun. You say what? Now I'm going to close out with this because they say nations, the all-seeing eye. No. Look at the dollar bill. Take a dollar bill out of your pocket or purse. Turn it over. It's a pyramid with an eye, a white man's eye in front of the pyramid. You say, what's that? Look at the eye closely. Oh, you say the eye is in front of the sun. Case closed. You say, what? That's what the white man did. He tried to take over the sun throne of God. The same sun that creates the fruits, vegetables, 9 planets. The same sun that lights every cell in your body. You say, okay, nobody never told me that the European children of Shem, they conquered Africa, lied about the GIZA Sphinx, lied about the biblical light of ancient Judaism. His eye is in front of the sun. It's a good reason. You say, why? Because what's looking out your eye right now? The same light that's pumping your heart. You say, what? Yeah. Wait. You say, wait. Well, they kind of tripped me up in high school and college in biology books. Right. There's 2 lights in your body. One is hydrogen light, same light that's shining 93 million miles away from the throne of God, the biblical light that creates the world. This hydrogen light, you can see it in my video. I'm going to show you a chemical circle cell with a rotating circle of hydrogen light plasma. It's rotating, it's in motion. Now, if you go to the biology class in high school, you open up the biology books, what they're going to show you? They're going to show you a chemical circular cell devoid of light. Okay, so that's a misnomer because this is the educational arena brainwashing your children about no light in the creation scenario. But when we look at the electron microscope image of the human cell, we see a chemical circular cell, and then we see this rotating circle of hydrogen light around all the chemical circular cells. It's a rotating light. Now, the Bible says the biblical light that creates the world, that comes up every day, which is the sun, regardless of Psalms 84:11, it says the biblical light that creates the world, the same light also is the biblical light that lights every man that cometh into the world. So nowhere can we discuss this logically when I've talked to ministers, preachers, and even the people of NASA. or the National Space Administration. They have this idea that black molecular mass, such as meteorites floating in outer space, was in existence before the sun. So the way I had to correct this is that the biblical light that created the world is talking about the sun. Ancient Egypt, we had winged sun discs on all the Egyptian temple walls. You go back to Babylon, if you believe the 400-year-old mistranslated European King James Bible narratives, which is a European King James man-based Lord God world religion narrative. They're telling you that a man in a robe with a beard and a penis, that's the old bearded man image of Jehovah. Or they're telling you Jesus, another bearded individual in a robe that has a penis. So they're telling you two molecular man-based Lord God world religion characters created the molecular earth, created the atomic electrical hydrogen light of the sun, which is false. Why? Because if I bring you back to physics and astronomy, we had the atom, electron around the atom, then we had the molecule. So it's three: atom, electron, and molecule. So in actuality, they tell you a man in a robe called Jehovah created the world and the sun and the universe, which is nonsense. Why? Because if we see this hydrogen light around the human cell and hydrogen light above the earth every day as the sun, hydrogen light plasma, then this is the biblical light that creates the world. But the biblical light in the book of 1 John 1:1 is also, that creates the world, is also the biblical light that lighteth every man that cometh into the world. So this is why when I use this video to educate ministers, preachers, people who work at NASA, I tell them, erase the molecular man-based Lord God world religion character. Every man has molecular body, molecular blood, okay? So Jesus was a man, prophet. He tried to teach people about the truth and all that. But he still was a molecular man with electrons around his cell, atoms for his soul. So when we talk about atom, electron, and molecule, there was no molecular earth, molecular meteorites, or asteroid in the blackout regions of space before 1 John 1:1 biblical light that exists in the blackout regions of space before creating the babylonian world. So here we see the same light glowing around the human cell in microbiology 101 with the electron microscope. Then we go to the white corpuscles. Also in high school books and biology books, they never show you the white light around the white corpuscle. They never show you in high school books or biology books in 8th grade the real holy hydrogen light of creation. That's what I call it. The biblical holy hydrogen light of creation. Now this light not only created the world, but how many colors in the rainbow? 7. 7 colors in the rainbow. Just let me do this so you can see. 7 colors in the rainbow. How many rainbows around the throne of light in the book of Revelation? The biblical light that created the world has a rainbow. The sun has a rainbow. They are the same. And so, LAURELD Smith of Chicago, Illinois' physically based archaeological and theological discovery actually closes the mystery of as to what happened to the ancient African continent, civilization of Ham. Remember, the solar theology of ancient Egypt and Babylon, it outranks all of the surrounding religions if you go back to the 2,000, 3,000 year mark in the Middle East. In fact, the stealing of the African continent solar theology by the 400-year-old mistranslated European King James Bible text is that the oldest stone 6-point star in the Bible is found in the African continent civilization of Ham, where we see stone step pyramids, okay, of Babylon. And so the same stone step pyramids of the African continent civilization of Ham also appears in ancient Egypt. For instance, the step pyramid of Djoser, the step pyramid of Saqqara. So here's black people in Africa and Babylon, stone step pyramids. Now, where we look at a sun in the center of the oldest stone 6-point star, that erases the European King James Bible lines. Why? Now, the same biblical light that creates the world, that comes up every day, that creates few celestial objects on for the entire planet, this light was denied by European King James appointed 72 Greek and Hebrew scholars. Now you see, so what happened? Well, the King James Bible narrative was that a European with a beard named Jehovah created the world before the sun. You say, okay, so that's the issue. That's a theological issue that can be taken to court. Okay? You can't create a physical molecular based earth. For instance, you got the atom, then you got the electrons orbiting the atom, then you have electrons and atoms making the molecule. You say it again. You got the atom, the sun is generating, is burning off atomic fusion. So the biblical light is higher and greater than the molecular physical blue basketball shaped earth. So the Bible authors were not only expressing their theologically based ignorance in astronomy, but they also expressed their ignorance in physics. Because now we see that you can't have a molecular earth, molecular piece of iron, molecular piece of tree be in existence before it cooled off from the light. Like you can go in your kitchen and take a fork and put it on the stove. The molecular fork, once the fire hits it, put it on it's going to turn red hot. You say, man, yeah, man is right. See now what happens? What comes out that's in the earth? Through a volcanic eruption, you see red hot lava dripping down the mountain. Through a volcanic eruption. Say man again, because you've been lied to. They try to tell you a man in a robe with a beard created the molecular blue basketball shaped earth. But now we see in the center of the molecular blue basketball shaped earth, we see a ball of red hot lava. Now your kids, you want to teach them a lie. You want them to excel. So teach them the truth about physics and astronomy. So when they ice the solar theology of the African GIZA SPHINX line of the tribe of Judah, they ice the solar theology of ancient Judaism. So this is why the same light that created the world, the 15 billion-year-old sun creating the 5 billion-year-old earth. So when the King James Bible told you that a man created the earth called Jehovah, and the Spirit hovered over the waters, he separated the waters from the dry land. Hold your horses. Hold your horses. This is a bald-faced lie. And you're allowing your innocent kids to read this and promote this lie. Ain't no molecular earth. You got atom, molecule, you got atom, electron, molecule. So how is a molecular man with a molecular beard, a molecular white man with a molecular white robe going to create a molecular earth before the atomic sun? Atom 1, electron 2, molecule 3. So their ignorance, the Europeans that tried to deny ancient African GIZA SPHINX line of the tribe of Judah, the black man face was currently still in the lion's body. So the white man's ignorance that tried to conceal the sun of ancient Egypt. Remember, you go to ancient Egypt, you're going to see sun with wings on all the Egyptian temple walls. And the African continent civilization of Ham that started the stone stuff pyramid civilization of Babylon also had stone stuff pyramids in ancient Egypt. So when we say the fourth son of Jacob, then who is the fourth son of Jacob? See, you get thrown off your balance. Because all you've been reading about in the English King James Bible is Joseph being sold into ancient Egypt and made a Pharaoh, ruling all of North and South Egypt. This is what the white European King James Bible lie is telling you. So erase that lie out of the King James Bible. Why? Well, the fourth son of Jacob couched down as a lion and as an old lion. He's called the couching Ethiopian lion thanks to Judah. So when I discovered theological based racism within your English King James Bible, I discovered that they concealed the black man's face on the lion's body in front of the Isaiah 19:19 Giza pyramids. So this is why LAURELD Smith, fourth son of Jacob for 400 years. So the next time they tell you Israel was in ancient Egypt for 400 years, say, I know. The fourth son of Jacob is in front of the Egyptian pyramids as the GIZA Sphinx lying in the tribe of Judah. So you might blame your Afro-American ministers and preachers for not teaching this in their Sunday school class, that the black man face on the lion's body is the couching Ethiopian lion thanks to Judah that ruled over Jerusalem and Judea and ruled over all 11 brothers. You say, what? No. You got 12 sons of Israel entering into ancient Egypt for 400 years. So what's the wrongdoing the Bible talks about? Well, we catch the Bible lying, we catch the white man lying in your English King James Bible when he tell you that Israel was in ancient Egypt for 400 years and that Joseph ruled over North and South Egypt, appointed by the Pharaoh of black African Egypt. You see, so what's wrong with that? What's wrong with it, brother, that they done stole the GIZA Sphinx glory, power. You say, what? If the fourth son of Jacob is in front of the Egyptian pyramids, why didn't they tell you that Genesis 49 chapter 9 verse says Judah is the lion's whelp from the prey. A lion body is in front of the pyramids right now. A black man's face is up on the lion's body. You say, oh, you exposed King James Bible lie. Yeah. There's a black man's face on the lion's body in front of the Egyptian pyramids. Why didn't the white man tell you about the African continent, GIZA Sphinx lion of Judah? The white man lied in your Bible. So who's the white man? Well, the book of everybody in Europe is called the children of Shem. Everybody in China and Asia is called the children of Japheth. Everybody in Africa is called the children of Ham. So what did the white man coming from Europe that entered Africa, Egypt, and Jerusalem, and Nigeria, what did they do? They tried to populate the Judean desert. And why was that? Well, remember, the GIZA Sphinx ruled over all 11 tribes of Israel. This is what they tried to keep a big secret. So when we forced the white man to tell the truth, that the black man's face on the lion's body ruled all of the 11 tribes of Israel. That's a big, hush-kept secret. But wait a minute. Israel was in ancient Egypt for 40 years. They want to talk about that. They don't want to talk about the fourth son of Israel that the book of Genesis 49 chapter 9 verse calls the couching Ethiopian lion, the tribe of Judah. So now what? That's it. If you can read between the lines, then what is the GIZA Sphinx facing east towards? He's facing east towards the sun. The sun. And what does 1 John 1:1 tell us? 1 John 1:1 is telling you the biblical light that exists in the black outer regions of space before it created the 5 billion-year-old world is also the biblical light that lights every man that comes into the world. So this is why LAURELD Smith from Chicago, Illinois is going to prove that the white man that took over Africa try to silence the solar theology of the sun creating the earth. So what did the white man did? What did they do? They silenced the solar theology of ancient Africans. Now you know what the white man did in your English King James Bible. And why did they do it? Because they wanted to uplift a white man with a role called Jehovah as your God. But the ancient Egyptians looked at the sun as the origin of your Ka, Ka, and Ba, B-A, soul and mind light. They call it the great 810 ray. So this sun can, you know, like humans in the airport security checkpoint, they want to see through your briefcase. If you carry a gun, they can use infrared, X-rays, and gamma rays and ultraviolet rays to see straight through your briefcase. They can look and see straight through a concrete wall with X-rays. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. If human beings can use X-rays and gamma rays to see through a wall or solid object or briefcase, then they lied to you about the biblical light of ancient Egypt. Said what? Because the sun that comes up every day is generating X-rays, gamma rays, infrared waves, ultraviolet rays. You said, oh, you caught the white man lying again. Yeah. So if humans can use X-rays and gamma rays and infrared waves to see through a briefcase or wall, the biblical light of ancient Egypt, of the ancient Judaism, is generating X-rays, gamma rays, ultraviolet waves, infrared waves. So what does that mean? It means that you've been lied to by Europe, the European children of Shem. Now, the Bible was created in 1611 by European appointed, King James appointed 72 Greek and Hebrew scholars in the 16th century. The transatlantic slave trade, where black people were chained and shipped away from Africa on ships. You say, what year was that? 1609. So what year was the Bible created? 1611. Wait a minute. White people rushed to Africa on boats. I'm talking about the big hairy white man they call Roman and the children of Britain. Now it wasn't no piece of cake jumping off the boat and taking over Africa. Them black brothers was kicking ass back there. Yeah, they're strong black brothers. They was arresting the white European invaders to Africa. And they was on, the Egyptians had warriors on chariots protecting the beach of the Nile and the Nile River. So don't think that black men just gave up Africa without a fight. Oh no, it was a fight, all right. But what you need to know is that the solar theology of ancient Judaism was suppressed by the 72 Greek and Hebrew scholars in order to uplift the false European man-based Lord God world religion characters such as Jehovah. So when you realize that the same light that created the world that shined 93 million miles away across the black outer regions of space is the same holy hydrogen light creation plasma we see glowing around the human cell and microbiology 101. So as soon as you figure out what this video is about, it was about discovering the GIZA SPHINX Lion of Judah face, a black man face on a lion's body that was denied in theological based form of racism within your English King James Bible. I discovered the real GIZA SPHINX face on the basement of the Jerusalem Foundationstone. So you go to the holy building of King David and Solomon, two black characters. You got to keep this in mind. Keep reminding your children that a black man built the Dome of the Rock, called King Solomon. King Solomon, a black man, a black king. Remind your children of Black King Solomon. Don't let them go sleeplessly, dreamlessly. Don't let them grow up sleeplessly, dreamlessly. Let them know ancient Africa, ancient GIZA Sphinx line of Judah, the Judean desert. You have something to be proud of. Okay? So this is telling you that LAURELD Smith, Chicago, Illinois, virtually based archaeological and theological discoveries discovered the GIZA Sphinx line of Judah on the oldest stone, foundation stone, in Jerusalem. Now keep in mind, this Jerusalem was called the land of Jebus. I mean, this is what the 72 Wicked Hebrew scholars chose to name it. So what was Jerusalem before it was Jerusalem? The Europeans chose to call it the land of Jebus, Jebus. So their theological racism allows them to use the word Jebus instead of African continent civilization of Ham. So King David bought the land where the Dome of the Rock foundation stone existed from the Jebusites. You say, so what's the real truth? What's the real truth? Well, King David's black son built the Dome of the Rock around this foundation stone. You say, now that's truth. Right. A black man building a holy Dome of the Rock with a golden dome around this foundation stone. You say, now what's the bottom line? Snap your fingers and the whole Dome of the Rock building disappear right now. Snap your fingers like a magician. You say, what's left? What's left? It's the foundation stone. You say, oh, I get it. The foundation stone is older than Judaism itself. That's right. So whose face do we see on the foundation stone? We see a black man's face that we currently see in front of the Egyptian pyramids. And what the book of Genesis 49, chapter 9, verse called the GIZA Sphinx line of the tribe of Judah. So this face of ancient Judaism appears on the ancient stone Babylonian 6-point star. So the oldest 6-point star in the Bible belongs to the African continent civilization of Ham in Babylon. And so when we go to ancient Egypt, guess what? We see the same GIZA Sphinx that brought the stone stele pyramids from Babylon into ancient Egypt. So the Egyptians are the children of Babylon. You said, oh, yeah, black and black. Black Babylonians, black Egyptians. So now what? Well, when you go up to Giza Pyramid Grand Gallery, we already have a black man face in front of the Egyptian pyramids. Where the book of Genesis 49, chapter 9, verse says, Judah is the lion's whelp from the prey, my son, thou art going up, he couched down at the lion, and there's an old lion. Now what? Now is that once you walk into the Egyptian pyramid, there's a 26-degree Grand Gallery stairway. You say, what? Remember, you have millions of people going to see the pyramid every year. And all of them have cell phones, cameras, but not one visitor to ancient Egypt pyramids have made a book or talked about the GIZA Sphinx face on the Grand Gallery wall. So they can walk up the pyramid steps. There's a left and right wall going all the way up to the top of the pyramid. Nobody made mention of it. Was it a conspiracy against Africa? Against ancient Judaism, black man face called the Lion Sphinx of Judah? Well, guess what? I saw the same wall. So what I discovered, what I did was, I enlarged the wall on the left, going up the Grand Gallery. And you see a GIZA Sphinx face, just like the face on the lion's body in front of the Egyptian pyramid. So this GIZA Sphinx face is carved on the wall next to a step pyramid. You say, uh-oh. Yeah, uh-oh is right. Now we have a GIZA Sphinx face on the Giza Pyramid Grand Gallery wall. Now what? Now we got to go back to the foundation stone. You say, oh, if you snap your fingers and King Solomon dome of the rock disappears, you're going to have a foundation stone in the basement. You'll say, now what? Well, King Solomon built the foundation, built the dome of the rock around the foundation stone. You say, so what's older? King Solomon building the Bible or the foundation stone? The foundation stone is older than the dome of the rock in the Bible. You should say it again. The holy building in the Bible, that has the golden dome. In the basement, there's a foundation stone that's older than the dome of the rock that King Solomon built. You see now, why is that so important? Why is that so important? Because the same GIZA Sphinx lion of the tribe of Judah, who counts down as a lion in the book of Genesis 49, chapter 9 verse, where it says, all thy 11 brothers, all thy fathers, all of Jacob's, the 12 sons of Jacob, and if Judah is the 4th son of Jacob, then 11 tribes of Israel is in Egypt, bowing down to the GIZA Sphinx.